Hey guys, what is going on? My name is Tanner, and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be discussing that 2015 FPS game Star Wars Battlefront and its upcoming sequel. Of course, Battlefront is set in the Star Wars universe where players are involved with different maps and game modes across the galaxy. While the game was a ton of fun upon release, it became a little lackluster later on. I really lost the motivation to continue playing the game. Today I simply want to throw out some ideas and some starting points for a larger discussion about how to make the upcoming untitled Battlefront game last for a little while longer. One of the biggest flaws that the first game had is that they chose to cover only the Galactic Civil War and left other time periods like the Clone Wars and the sequel trilogy nowhere to be seen. By simply adding in new eras, like they have claimed they will be, you get an abundance more content to play with, first and foremost with the new heroes and villains. Because the recent game covered only the original trilogy, we are limited to heroes and villains of that time period. By adding the Clone Wars alone, you get players like Obi-Wan, Anakin, Count Dooku, General Grievous, Jango Fett, and maybe even players like Mace Windu, or if they really wanted to, Darth Maul, although that wouldn't necessarily fit into the canon continuity. This time period is filled with characters to use, considering that you have a whole Jedi temple of people. Adding in new eras can also lead to new weapons and vehicles. Of course, with the Clone Wars being included, you once again have a ton to work with. The Rebels really didn't have any ground vehicles in the 2015 game, which is one of the major downfalls. But both the clone and droid armies have had multiple ground and air assault vehicles, so something like that could really work in-game, because it adds more variety for players and gives it more of a Battlefield-esque feel. Of course, those vehicles could also be used on new maps like Naboo, Coruscant, Geonosis, or any other planets really related to that time period. Of course, these planets could even come from the TV shows, the books, or even the comics. Or, hey, just create your own environments. In a galaxy as huge as this, there is no reason not to create your own environments and planets. Something the 2015 game lacked was great game modes. There were a few like Walker Assault and Turning Point, but they just weren't playable on every map. And I feel as if most game modes should be able to be played on most maps. Once again, adding in the prequel era would provide a lot, with space battles at the front and center. Now what I'm about to say might sound a little bit crazy, but I'm just asking you to hear me out real quick. I do think that the time periods like the Clone Wars and the Galactic Civil War should not mix in-game, at least not all the time. However, I do think that it'd be awesome to have a huge game mode similar to a Battlefield Operations, with all the eras blended together, where you have the clones fighting alongside the rebels while trying to stop the droid army and the Empire. I think something like that could be really cool on a huge scale, but I just don't want the entire game to be filled with it. Another reason I really just haven't played the game is because I lost the incentive to. There's really no reason for me to, which is why I think that there needs to be more incentives to play the next game. I think an easy way of doing that would to simply create an operator system similar to Rainbow Six Siege. For example, you start out as a regular clone, but each game you receive credits that you can use to buy new operators or new characters with different abilities and loadouts. What I'm pitching here is really just reverting to a system used in the old Battlefront 2, where there are different types of loadouts for soldiers to choose from, but in this case you have to buy them with credits and they can be slightly customized. This would give players something to work towards in the game. Of course, the last thing I want to touch on real quick is something that they've already confirmed that they are doing, which is a campaign. I would love for it to be co-op, but I think single player works just as well. But my biggest question is, what will the campaign be? What time period will it be set in? Or will it span across multiple? Maybe we could also get a small story for each era, similar to how they did Battlefield 1. And as a Star Wars canon junkie, I do wonder whether the story will be canon or not. I do have so many questions as to what the campaign is and how it will be, but I have a feeling we'll find out here pretty soon at Star Wars Celebration or another outlet. All I want is for there to be a good, simple, single-player story, and as long as the game contains that, I will be content with that portion. I don't need a story quality of The Last of Us in a primarily multiplayer-based Star Wars shooter. Although, guys, that's really about it for this video. I really don't have a whole lot to touch on. I think that simply adding in the new eras, the story mode, and incentive is really all you need to make EA's Battlefront 2 so much better than the original. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, as well as leave a comment on what you would like to see in the upcoming Battlefront game. My name is Tanner, and I'll see you in the next one.